Northern snakehead are one of the funnest freshwater species to target in the Chesapeake Bay region. Their violent topwater strikes and acrobatics are really what set them apart from their non-native partner, the largemouth bass. They are most active in their swampy habitats from early spring and into the fall, but spring can offer some of the best bites of the year when given the right conditions. Spring is when they start waking up from their winter slumber, and once the water warms enough, they start feeding heavily, preparing for the spawn. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's Cha-Cha, and today I will be breaking down the 3 phases of spring snakehead fishing and how to catch them on artificial lures. There has actually been a decent amount of snakehead already caught this year, especially through this past week's warming trend, which is what gets the bites started, those rising water temperatures. So the first phase is what we're on the cusp of right now, which is early spring. And that's when the snakes are getting more active and the water temperature is reaching about 55 degrees. That speeds up their metabolism the warmer it gets, and they start moving around more looking for food. Now you can catch them before early spring, but it's more of a minnow game, and today we're talking artificial. So during the early spring phase, you're looking for those warmer days reaching 60, maybe even 65 degrees, air temperature, a lot of sun, and especially that darker water. That's gonna help that water temperature climb up, and typically in the afternoons, you're gonna have warmer water temperature and more active fish. And they will be sitting not super shallow yet, like they are in the summer, where it's like 1 foot, maybe 6 inches. They're typically in that 2 to 4 foot range, give or take a little bit, but they're not sitting quite as shallow as you would find them, say, in July. So this is more of a subsurface lure bite. Topwater isn't quite fired up yet, and they're going to be chasing down more of those baits that are in the middle of the water column. Some of my favorites are an inline spinner, a chatterbait, a paddle tail, an underspin, and a curly tail frog. My go-to lure for the spring is definitely the high-octane weedless trident. This lure is just an absolute killer at having some flash with a subtle presentation, not too large, and is an easy meal, and for whatever reason, it drives them crazy. So following early spring, we've got phase 2, which is mid-spring, aka topwater time. This is when the water temperature reaches about 62 degrees, and it triggers their metabolism to speed up more. They start moving quite a bit more shallow. You'll find them in that 1 to 6 foot range, and they are absolutely fired up. They're in pre-spawn mode, and they are chasing down baits, and it can be some super epic time on the water. Some of my favorite lures for this time are topwater frogs, topwater mice, and weightless flukes. One lure I'm really looking forward to throwing this spring is this new Tailored Lures mouse. It's got a nice, slim, compact body that's gonna walk really well and isn't too big of a presentation, and the hook gap is perfect with really stout hooks. I am super stoked to throw this, and I think this is gonna tear snakehead up this year. The mid-spring bite is definitely one to take advantage of. It sometimes can have a pretty short window, and depending on your area, it can happen, say, early April or early May. It just depends how fast that water can warm up, and it kind of tapers off anywhere between 72 and 80 degrees. And unfortunately, that is when the snakehead spawn starts, which is possibly one of the toughest bites, if not the toughest bite of the year. They're starting to pair up. They're not worried about feeding as much as they were, say, 2 weeks prior, and they're got one focus, which is spawning. So I typically don't target them too much this time of year, and if you do, it definitely makes you a better angler because you gotta work for every single bite that you get. Topwater, subsurface, either way it's gonna be tough, but you can still pick them off here and there. Here's a quick trip of my buddy Dave and I during early spring of last year, and we were fishing for a few hours in the morning here on a good subsurface bite, and we typically would have fished the afternoon. Like I said earlier, you can be more productive when the water is warmest and had that sun beating on it most of the day. but this was kind of a weird instance where we had a few sunny days prior, nice and warm, and then we had a cold front coming in the middle of the day. So we ended up fishing in the morning, and that's when the water was the warmest. Got him. Look at that little guy. First snake of the year, baby. Little baby. You. There he is. Pretty little baby. Thank you for getting my season started, little baby. Now let's try to get this thing out. Where are my pliers? I didn't bring them. That is an issue. Alright. First one on the board. Probably, maybe 13 inches, but first of the year, so I'm stoked. There we go. There we go. Oh. Try to boat flip you. What the hell is going on here? There we go. Oh my gosh. Well, now, of course, my frog detached from my freaking net. That's a better one. That's a better one. There we go. The sun's on my back. Let me turn so you guys can see him a little better. They're definitely not quite up on the bank yet. Water temp's about 60 degrees. I haven't really seen any shallow. Both hits I've gotten have been not out in the middle, but definitely in slightly deeper water rather than, in a foot or two on the bank. There he is. Probably 25. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, thank you. Caught me off guard there, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. He smashed it pretty good. Smashed it pretty good. Number 3 on the old mini trident today. I'm glad that we decided to come out in the morning. Glad we made that decision. There he is. There he is. I missed you guys. Alright. Oh. Well, there he goes. It's starting to cool off a little bit already, but these fish are fired up, so we'll see. Keep trucking. It seems like it's getting a little calmer towards the back. The wind's picking up a tiny bit, so we're gonna keep on keeping on. Dave just caught a giant bass. Hell yeah.
20-inch bass all day.
Hell yeah. That's a beauty, dude. That is a beauty. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, make sure to smash that like button and also consider subscribing. I've got a lot of cool stuff planned for this year, and I'm also upgrading a lot of my gear. like this new camera that I'm using right now, the Sony FX30, trying to bring the best content as possible to you guys, and got a lot of cool stuff planned, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So I'll see you next time.